Hey Collective, it's Ron again over at Becoming Enlightened Together. So we're doing another reading. Now, ordinarily I would say this would be like yesterday's reading, Monday's reading, but again, I'm not going to go ahead and explain it yet again. If you want to hear that whole rant on time, you can listen to yesterday's or the previous reading on that. So even though I'm doing this today, which is Tuesday, this is the actual energy that would have been from the previous day, regardless of when you're watching this. So whether it was a week from today or a year from today, or whatever the case may be, it's still applicable, at least in part, to whoever it is that's watching. With that being said, don't take anything that doesn't physically or spiritually resonate with you. If something just does not seem appropriate for you specifically, then don't accept it. Only take those things which you know or you feel are specific to you. Okay. Again, this is an energetic reading for the collective, so it's all the energy that's out there. It's basically coming in. What you needed to hear upon my reflection and my prayers before doing these readings. Okay, as a collective. Now, the overall energy for the week is positive in comparison to last week. What we have is Ewas in the upright, and it talks about journeys, if you will, and that means the actual journey itself. So, a horse and a carriage, a horse and a rider, a vehicle of some kind, transportation, vehicle, uh, movement. Talks about travel of some kind. But it also talks about the psychological, or even more so, the spiritual journeys as well that we often embark in. Okay, so in doing that, we also talk about harmony that can be attained, or it can be, if you will, kept from us by other situations, circumstances, or people. So it talks about, typically in the upright, it talks about a harmonious, traveling of some kind. It talks about, gradual progress for something better or to achieve something better. It talks about teamwork and loyalty. Talks about an ideal relationship or marriage. And it also reminds us that it is a confirmation beyond doubt of all the other runes around it. Okay, now let's look at those runes. Now, in the past, or the energy that I pulled on Sunday for today, and yes, I actually did the reading on Sunday. I didn't actually record it till just today, but again, I'm just doing this when I can. This is not something I'm doing as a job in any way, shape, or form. I'm just doing this as my contribution to the collective. So I do when I can, how I can, as I have many, many other things going on in my life, caring for another person, and so on. Okay? So past energy is that of Iwas. Now, Iwas is in the upright, and the Iwas talks about the yew tree. It talks about death and rebirth, if you will. It talks about a quest. It talks about success and strength, reliability and dependability. It also talks about trustworthiness and enlightenment. It talks about having your sights set upon a goal or task and being able to achieve it. It talks about the driving force to acquire that which your heart desires. It talks about both defense and protection, and it talks about basically how, whether it's in the upright or reverse, it could indicate that there could be death. Much more so that might be present, somewhere within your life. Okay. And whether it's the karmic or somebody that you love in your life, whatever the case may be, um, it talks about the possibility of that. So it's in the upright, and it is ordinarily in the upright. Death is part of life. We all experience it at some point. So not all death is basically because somebody had done wrong. Okay, and that's what I'm referring to here. If it was in the reverse, then it would probably indicate that yes, indeed, it was somebody who had done some and has warranted, done earlier than um, expected death. Okay. Now, the present energy is that of Degas. Now, Degas is in the reverse in this particular case. So what that talks about is basically radical, changes of some kind. Again, we're seeing change in terms of the overall weekly energy. In this case, it's radical changes. So changes are not just happening for you and I in the collective, they're also happening for the karmics in our life, and some of them are extremely quick. I mean, they're coming out of nowhere. They were not expecting these things to happen. Some of these people literally thought they were immune to any type of repercussions for their actions. So they're getting, at least from their opinion, blindsided. Maybe they feel that this is an unjust punishment or whatever the case may be, but they're getting exactly what they deserve and what they put out there to the universe. Now, it talks about somebody with an attitude of some type. And again, it talks about the endings of something or the completion of something. It talks about limits. It also talks about somebody coming full circle. So again, we're referring mostly to the karmics right here, right now, in the present energy. We're talking about somebody who's blind, somebody who's basically experienced some level of hopelessness. This rune is often used for opening and closing rituals of whatever type, and in creative endeavors and transformational endeavors. Now, I've kind of stopped talking about the magical applications of these things because you just want to hear about the divination or what it is that's happening energetically in your life in the future and so on and so forth. And I get that. But sometimes, looking at what these things are actually used for in a deliberate sense, ritually or magically, can give us a better understanding of this particular power or the power behind this particular rune. Okay, so that's the present energy. Now, the obstacles and challenges we have for today is that of, or yesterday, I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm doing readings all today on video, but this is for actual Monday's reading. So I did the readings both Sunday and then I did another one yesterday, and I did today's today, but I didn't record them until just now. So it is what it is. I've already explained that. So the obstacles and challenges of that of Sowelo, and Sowelo in this case is in the reverse. Okay, so it's often a very mighty rune, again for protection, for defense, things of that nature. But in the reverse, it talks about self-centeredness. So again, we're referring to the karmics in our life, or maybe we're going through a karmic episode in our life. You could go either way. So you might be messing with somebody, or you yourself might be actually somebody who's in a self-centered energy at this point. Somebody who is both giving or receiving bad counsel. Somebody who has experienced false success. In other words, success they didn't truly earn, they stolen in some way, shape, or form. Somebody who's very gullible. Somebody has basically lost their vision for their goals. Somebody is probably experiencing some form of destruction in their life, whether it is in their job, whether it's in their relationship, with their physical health. It could be a number of things. So this is also looked at as a possible act of retribution, karmically speaking. It's looked at as a form of justice, okay? And the casting down of vanity and the wrath of God. And again, so although some of these things could indeed also be reflective of what the collective itself could be going through, I think, specifically that we're again referring to and pinpointing what those who are basically going through it right now in terms of the karmics in our life are experiencing, because they literally have chosen to go the dark side. Some of them absolutely and specifically have chosen to use the darkness to get things in life that they want, and some of them have up till now, but they are now experiencing the wrath of God, and that's exactly what this rune means in the reverse. Okay, now in the help and advice we have, basically what do I do with it? It looks like I lost one of my runes. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's right in front of me. It just looked like a different rune. Alright, so it's Wunyo. Okay, and Wunyo too the wishing rune is in the upright in this case. So for the help and advice, it talks about harmony, joy, peace, blessings, ecstasy, desire, pleasure. It talks about prosperity. It talks about glory and spiritual rewards. So as you can see, the karmics are going to see your success. You are going to see their, karma, so to speak. So now the tables have been flipped. The wheel of fortune has turned, so to speak, and we're seeing things reverse. Okay, so you're going to be rewarded. Okay, so recognition of the things that you've done, your success is guaranteed. That's what they're saying. Whereas what we just saw with the karmics, their downfall is also guaranteed. Now, for the future outcome, we have that of Ingwas. Now, Ingwas is the god Freyr. Another way of describing him is God Ing. Ing or Freyr, and it actually stands for ING in their alphabet, actually. So Freyr is the great earth god, and he's looked at, as a form of masculine, a masculine god, so to speak. So it talks about somebody who's a hero and has great potential, somebody who's either wins or basically maintains freedom, like a William Wallace kind of a thing. Somebody basically who can put down the consequences, to others. Internal growth is part of this. Somebody who's virtuous, strong, strength in many ways. There's mental, physical, and spiritual strength. Okay, so it talks about family love, familial love. It talks about war. Somebody who has common sense. It talks about the home and a time of rest. It talks about a time of relief where there's very little to no anxiety. It talks about where all of your loose ends are being tied off. Whether you can see it or not, these are the energies that are happening right now. And it talks about, somebody who listens to their intuition. And it also talks about male fertility and sexuality. Okay, so, and again, the Vikings don't make any qualms about, that aspect of their life. It's a natural part of life. They don't shy around it or pretend as though it doesn't matter or that it's something dirty. Okay, so that is your Monday's energy. So with that being said, as always, I wish you guys the utmost victory. We're keeping this one short. I have one more to do immediately after that for today, specifically. So take care, stay victorious, and I'll see you very, very soon. God bless.